Today I'm going to be doing a video about Dxtory, which is in my opinion the best video capturing software for video games, for gameplay. First of all, I'd like to compare it to Fraps. Fraps is of course what I'm using to record this just because the only bad thing about Dxtory is that you cannot screen capture with it, but it's okay. Not many people ever have to do it. I didn't think I was ever have to do it, but I figured I'd make this video because I kind of had some problems with Dxtory and I want to go over it. Okay, so uh, Dxtory is a little bit more expensive than Fraps if you buy it. So that's a negative or a plus depending on how you look at it. I really don't know. Um, Basically, Fraps, the big thing that I like more about Dxtory is that with Fraps, it has a 4 gig limit per file. So if you've got like an hour of gameplay, which I have all the time when I'm doing Let's Plays of Skyrim, that'll just break up maybe, then that will be like dozens of files that you have to go through, sort through. It's a big mess. Dxtory does not do that. It does one big continuous streaming file. You hit record, it could be 2 hours later, doesn't matter. After you're done recording, you hit the key to stop recording. It's one big file, which I personally like a lot more. It's a lot easier to work with. Another thing that Fraps does is, from my personal experience, Fraps files are a lot bigger. Like it's going to take up several more gigabytes of your hard drive space. For me, it's about 1-to-1 ratio with Dxtory, 1 gig to about every minute. With Fraps, that could be as high as 2 or even 3 depending on the game you're playing. Another thing with Fraps is it's very system hogging. If I'm recording Battlefield 3 with Fraps, it's terrible, right? If I'm recording Battlefield 3 with Dxtory, I got it set to record at 30 frames because that's what YouTube uploads to. But I'm getting 100, 120 frames while I'm playing, which is what I want. That's that's maximizing the refresh rate of my monitor. That's maximizing my computer, which I enjoy. I experience almost no loss. So here, I will start the part of the video that's all about how to use Dxtory, how I set it up. Now, there's several different codecs. Dxtory Video Codec comes with, that's what a lot of people will be using because it's the default. However, I strongly recommend, strongly recommend that you do not use this. I recommend you use the Logarith lossless codec. The other one that a lot of people try to use and do use is X264 Video for Windows. That's X264 VFW if you're using the abbreviation. Now I tried this and I cannot for the life of me. I tried all the troubleshooting. I had the 32-bit version, tried the 264-bit version. I tried multiple different files. I tried it from an exe file. I tried it from a raw compressed file. I tried it in different directories, and every single time the codec would not be recognized by Sony Vegas, and that's an issue. Now another thing about that is that it is also, if you use, say, Adobe After Effects, if you use that instead of Sony Vegas, or if you use that in addition to, it will also not recognize the codec. So what I have to say to you is use the Logarith lossless codec. And the reason you use this over, say, the Dxtory video codec is because the Dxtory video codec will have file sizes similar to Fraps, still a little smaller, but the Logarith lossless codec, not only does it run smoother, like I get no frame loss with Logarith. I get about 5 to 10 with the regular one. Fraps I get about 20. But it also has very small file sizes. Okay, so now we're gonna go into settings. I personally, depending on the game, either record at 1920 by 1080 or 1280 by 720. I do Skyrim in 1280 by 720 because the videos are longer. I want them to be smaller, but in Battlefield I beef it up so that it is 1080 on YouTube. Now, the simplest thing right here is the frame rate. As I said earlier, the frame rate on YouTube is 30, so it's a waste to go on either of these two. With 30, it won't make that much bigger of a difference, but it's better to use 29.97 because that will stick to 30. With 30, it could go anywhere from like 35 to 25 at any point in time, but this, it seems it's always the same. That right here is how you affect what resolution you're recording at to your hard drive. 1280 by 720 is 720, and then 1920 by 1080 is 1080p. You can also scale it. I prefer to use that though. All right, when I use this, I use multi-threading because I do have an i7 3770K. So I using multi-threading really does improve the quality for me. And then for this, you can use any of these. Note that these two will have bigger file sizes, and I found that YUY2, the same with. This is also the same with the original Dxtory codec. Right here, they both have about the same quality in the end when it comes to YouTube, but of course, when you go with the lower quality, it does save you a lot of space, and it does take less time to render and therefore upload because it's a smaller file. Audio, you can have multiple audio channels, which is another thing that Fraps does not have. Fraps, if you mess up, too bad. With this, you have multiple audio files, so when you import it into, like, say, Sony Vegas, you're going to see multiple. Instead of just video and then audio, it's going to have maybe video, then audio output, then audio input. I just use the 96,000 hertz 16-bit stereo because that's how I render it in Sony Vegas. And you just set your device as to whatever you use for input. I, myself, had Logitech G35 headset, which, by the way, I would recommend to anyone. But you just set that to whatever you want. That doesn't really matter. This is where the magic happens. You can turn this on. I don't really see that much of a difference, and you can force CPU processing. But even with my beefy setup, I have an i7 3770K and a GTX 560 Ti. If you put either of these on, my game crashes, and so yeah. Processing threads, you can stick that to whatever you want. I just use 2. I really don't know the big difference. I tried it with 8, and it didn't lag my game, but it didn't seem to be in higher quality either. So obviously, if you don't have an i7 or you don't have high-end AMD, you're not going to have an 8-core. You're not going to have 8 cores after the quad core and then the virtual 4. So just use whatever you feel was comfortable. Like I said, I have not found personally that it makes that big of a difference either way. And then that's just if you're licensed and such. Down here on this little yellow rectangle with the arrow, if it'll load up here. Here we go. I just set the Dxtory video setting to 30. Then I do stretch, adjust mode, and then the back color, I don't really know what that does, but I just chose black because I like black. And then again, that's just right there. And those right there, if you'd use all these settings, for me, trust me, I've done days and days of testing, and this is definitely the best. Okay, and the reasons why are, it's got the smallest file size, it's got the most quality to size, it's the highest quality to quantity as far as file sizes go, and I personally chose Dxtory over Fraps just because it's got so many better things. It's got more settings, it takes less of your system, it runs better, and it saves. One thing I really enjoy is that it just saves in one large file, which is just, you don't realize, but when you do a lot of videos, I do like a video or 2 every day, and it makes it so much easier than sorting through all these AVI files. You just got one big meaty AVI file, which I like, and it just like with Fraps, you can do overlay, you can see your FPS while in game, so you can still do your benchmarking. It's great. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it's clear to you that Dxtory is much better than Fraps, and I hope this video helped you out. If you do have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I've had a lot of problems setting up Dxtory, but once I got it in these settings, it worked perfectly. If you do try the X264 VFW codec, I know a lot about that codec because I read up about it for about 2 days. It's the codec I would be using if it was recognized by Sony Vegas because it saves even smaller than the um, lossless codec does. However, it doesn't work with Sony Vegas, so don't use it. Um, Thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope I helped you out. And if you really enjoyed the video, remember to like it. And if you want to see more of my videos, remember to subscribe. Thank you. And this is Walrus saying adios.